Food stamps have become a very controversial topic for most Americans as it affects a major part of the population. Even though some don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, there are people who go hungry every day, and without food stamps, they would starve.
There is a lot of history behind these small but impactful stamps. It all started on January 31st, 1964, when the Food Stamp Act and program was enacted. President Johnson saw how big of a problem hunger was, so he passed legislation through Congress to make the food stamp program permanent on August 31st, 1964.
As you may think, why was the first food stamp made before the 1964 program? Well, it was because the program allowed for there to be balance for the increasing food surpluses.
This allowed for more people to be able to receive food stamps and get proper nutrition.
In 2020, 38 million people requested for food stamps, and 12 million of those were children. COVID-19 took a toll on the amount of jobs available for people. This virus also caused many restaurants and stores to close since they were not getting enough customers to pay rent fees. Unfortunately, this resulted in people not able to afford food for their families.
American families are going hungry. We've all seen the long lines on news showing the number of people waiting to get food from food banks.
In 1993, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program was established, commonly known as the SNAP Foundation.
Work requirements for those under SNAP. They write this: the Farm Bill will reauthorize the nation's nearly $900 billion in food and agriculture programs for another 5 years. That includes the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, which helps low-income families pay for food.
Food stamps have come a long way since they first started. It started out as a program, then an act, and now SNAP has become the major food stamp program helping families all over the country. The SNAP program has been very beneficial for our nation because of its positive impact on world hunger. It allows people to buy nutritious food while helping them pay for it.
Feeding America is also an impactful organization to alleviate hunger. This organization is the largest domestic hunger relief program in the United States. Their commitment is to provide food, cash, and advocacy to food banks, food pantries, and meal programs. Every year, they help 40 million people who are hungry.
Although SNAP and other organizations have continued to help alleviate hunger, the number of people still needing food is rapidly growing.
Calamities like the pandemic and natural disasters will always be part of our daily lives. And because of this, there will always be people who will need help. By our own experiences, we have seen people buying food for others who cannot afford it. And starting in 2021, our school, Alexandria City High School, has now started free breakfasts and lunches for everyone.
In order for a well-rounded community, people should agree that food stamps are beneficial for our community. Those who disagree believe that some people take advantage of this benefit.
Everyone needs access to food. It's a given right, and so it's one way to help people who need that assistance.
There are families that no matter what they do or what they try to do, they can never really quite get enough to handle all the needs of the family.
I've lived off of them, so it's good. It helped me a lot. I wouldn't say it saved my life, but it definitely fed me, and I was very pleased.
We talked with Dr. Gunderson, a professor at Baylor University who's been studying these impactful stamps for over 20 years.
To get SNAP, you need to meet criteria. The first is what's called the gross income test. The second is the net income test. Your net income has to be below the poverty line, and then you apply for SNAP benefits, and then depending upon your net income, that's the amount of benefits you get. And you get an electronic benefit transfer card, EBT card, and you can use that at grocery stores.
We also had the opportunity to talk with Elizabeth Bors, who is running an innovative project trying to help ensure that farmers markets take food stamps to improve low-income access to fresh produce.
Farmers markets have traditionally been a place where people did access healthy fruits and vegetables. But when the food stamp program moved from literally paper stamps over to the EBT card, that made it more challenging. So farmers markets had to kind of become places again where people could utilize their benefit.
People believe food stamps also are essential for low-income families to get the sustainable nutrition that is needed. Sustainable nutrition allows for people to avoid later healthcare problems and benefits overall physical and mental health.
Additionally, food stamps can be used to help people in need so they can buy groceries without having to wait for their next paycheck to come in. Food stamp spending is opposed by 37% of Americans, while 22% want it to stay the same. 30% want the budget to be raised. Those in favor of removing food stamps claim that people use food stamps incorrectly. For example, some argue that some recipients may have a large income that allows them to afford groceries, yet still use food stamps.
We've made a lot of progress by helping people get into work and then combining that work or the earnings from that work with other forms of assistance that make those wages go farther.
Senator Charles Schumer discusses the Trump administration's movement.
Today, the Trump administration announced it had completed a new rule that would potentially throw hundreds of thousands of needy Americans off food assistance. The Trump administration justifications for these cuts is that they will save the government money.
Tell me, how many times do you buy lunch a week? On average, it is about $12 a day, which is in between the usual fast food and casual restaurant prices. $60 a week. This is more than enough to feed a family of 4 with the help of food stamps.
Learning more about food stamps can change your perspective on what's important. In order for our community to live free of hunger, food stamps should stay. Let's make feeding the hungry a priority.